feel it is high time for another edition of Books I Love with Covers I Hate. Let's start off in the romance category, as it's just a treasure trove of the best of ill-thought-out covers. How about The Care and Feeding of Stray Vampires by Molly Harper, a paranormal romance book? It's quite good, witty dialogue and engaging characters. I loved this book. Fortunately, I read it on my Kindle, because otherwise I don't know if I could have finished this book looking at this cover. We'll skip over the typical objectified male bod and get to the unique part that really bothers me. The heddle area. One, his head looks like it's the wrong shape for the body and doesn't look like anything really exists above where it cuts off. And as you get no hint of any hair on his head, not a sideburn or nothing, he must be bald or have a bowl cut worthy of Moe from the Three Stooges. Plus, guys, I know he's a vampire, he's got two pointy teeth, but typically vampires, in addition to the pointiness, have normal people teeth too. Now this guy's mouth is open enough that if he had other teeth, you should see something more than the black abyss that's between this guy's lips. Ergo, I must assume he's toothless, except for his vampire canines. But the worst part, the very worst part of this cover is that when you first glance at it, the lock of hair, which on closer examination is her lock of hair, looks like it's dangling from his head. So the immediate complete picture that my helpful subconscious brain builds is of this completely bald guy who's completely bald except for one scraggly lock of hair that grows out of his bald head and falls down beside his completely toothless mouth, completely toothless except for two fairly weeny-looking canines. And I'm sorry, that's kinda a turnoff, and this book would have been wasted on me. Let's end with one of my favorite books, the Hugo Award-winning science fiction classic, The Snow Queen, written by Joan D. Vinge, an amazing female author in the typically male-dominated sci-fi world. The modern cover for this book is actually one of my favorite book covers. This is it. It's beautiful and otherworldly and hints of an alien culture that you instantly want to know more about. This is a great cover for a very, very great book. So, the other day I was looking for a high-res version of this cover, and I stumbled across an earlier cover for the book, and I cannot even. Before I show this to you, I have to note that this is a serious work of science fiction. In no way is it a sci-fi romance or a space opera. And yet, here is what Orbit chose to encase this wonderful book in. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? I don't even know where to start. Even if this were a space opera, this is still the most awkward cover I have ever seen. The guy looks like a 2-year-old who has been accidentally aged up and given six-pack abs, but really just needs his diaper changed, so he's super grumpy. And the girl in the front, heaven help us, is that supposed to be an alluring pose? She looks like she has a wedgie. I can't. And what's with the lady in the background, just scooting in on her floating pod? She looks like she should be holding one of those long cigarette holders like Cruella de Vil, and somehow should be a two-dimensional figure that somehow manages to slink in on a floating pod. This may be the absolutely worst cover I've ever had the privilege, the eye-scarring privilege, to ever stumble across. And this has been an edition of Books I Love with Covers I Hate.